Okay, so ready to dive into something a little darker today.
I think I can handle that.
Literally.
Yeah.
We're talking about nyctophobia, the fear of the dark.
Yeah, a classic, right? But probably more complex than people think.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone gets a little, spooked sometimes when the lights go out, right?
Right, it's natural.
But we're talking like true fear, the kind that messes with your life.
Exactly. Nyctophobia, it's not just disliking the dark.
So then how do we define it? What's the difference?
Well, think about it this way. Most people, they might feel a little uneasy in the dark. Maybe they jump at a shadow.
Yeah.
But someone with nyctophobia, for them, darkness triggers a much more intense fear response.
So are we talking like panic attack?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Racing heart, sweating, dizziness.
Whoa.
Yeah, the whole 9 yards. It can be really debilitating.
It makes you wonder, like, where does this fear even come from?
Well, there are a few different theories.
Is it like a primal thing? Back in the day, darkness meant danger.
It's possible. Evolutionary psychology, right. Avoid those nocturnal predators.
Right.
But it's not that simple, of course.
That's not.
Childhood experiences, especially traumatic ones that happen in the dark, they can definitely play a role.
Oh, okay. So like if something scary happens to you in the dark as a kid.
Exactly. Your brain kind of learns to associate darkness with danger. And for some people, nyctophobia might be connected to a broader anxiety disorder.
Oh, okay. So it's not just about the dark itself, but it's part of a bigger picture.
Right. The darkness is just one trigger, one of many things that can set off that fear response.
It's wild how our brains work, right?
Yeah, totally. But what's really important is thinking about the impact this has on people's lives.
Right. Like, how does this actually play out day to day?
Well, imagine the most basic thing, trying to fall asleep.
Ooh,
People with nyctophobia, they often struggle with insomnia, have nightmares. They might need to sleep with the lights on.
Which can make you even more tired.
Exactly. So you're already starting the day exhausted and anxious.
Right. And then it's not just sleep, it's everything.
Oh, absolutely.
You're basically living in a constant state of fear.
It can be pretty isolating.
So what can people do? I mean, you can't just tell someone to get over it.
No, definitely not. It's about finding ways to manage the fear.
Okay, so what kind of ways?
Well, there are therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT.
I've heard of that.
It helps you identify and challenge those negative thought patterns.
So you're basically retraining your brain to think differently.
Yeah, kind of. And then there's exposure therapy. It's like, imagine slowly dipping your toes into a cold pool.
Ooh, I hate that feeling.
Right. But with exposure therapy, you gradually confront the darkness, starting with situations that make you a little uneasy.
So like baby steps.
Exactly. And as you get more comfortable, you increase the challenge, always in a safe and controlled environment.
And this actually works.
It can be really effective, yeah. And of course, there are things you can do on your own, like relaxation techniques.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Deep breathing, mindfulness, progressive muscle relaxation. These can all help calm your anxiety in the moment.
And those are good for anyone, really.
Exactly. Even simple things like dimming the light slowly over time can help desensitize you to the dark. It's about finding what works for you.
This is all so interesting, but, it makes you think.
Yeah.
Like, we talk about fear of the dark as if it's universal, but isn't that kind of a cultural thing?
Totally. Darkness doesn't have the same meaning everywhere.
Right. Like, aren't there some cultures where it's not seen as scary?
Oh, yeah. In some Native American cultures, for example, darkness is a time for introspection, for connecting with the spiritual world.
Wow, that's so different from how we usually see it.
Right. It really challenges our assumptions.
But then how do those different cultural views, how do they actually impact people?
It's tricky. Even in cultures where darkness isn't inherently scary, if someone has a traumatic experience in the dark.
It can still mess them up.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Yeah.
always a mix of factors.
Speaking of individual experiences, what about kids?
Yes. The monster under the bed phase.
Right. Is that like a normal thing, or is it something parents should worry about?
It's super common for young kids to be afraid of the dark.
Yeah, makes sense.
Their imaginations are going wild. They haven't quite figured out what's real and what's not.
So cute, but also kind of creepy.
Exactly. And most kids do grow out of it, but for some, the fear can stick around or even get worse.
So what should parents do? How can they help?
The biggest thing is to validate the child's fear. Don't dismiss it.
Okay.
Talk about it openly, reassure them. Nightlights can be helpful. Bedtime stories about overcoming fear.
I love that.
Gradually introducing them to darkness in a playful way can also make a difference.
That makes sense. Although, let's be real, I don't think horror movies are helping.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I mean, darkness is like the main ingredient in any scary movie, right?
Yeah, totally. Lurking monsters, jump scares. It definitely reinforces those negative associations.
So Hollywood, thanks for that.
But, media can also be a tool for, desensitization.
Oh, interesting.
Think about documentaries about nocturnal animals, the beauty of the night sky.
That's a good point.
It's about balance and being aware of how what we consume might be affecting us.
Right, so pay attention to what you're watching.
Exactly.
Okay. But on a serious note, I think it's really important to emphasize that nyctophobia is treatable.
Couldn't agree more. If you're struggling, reaching out for professional help is so important.
Yeah, it's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength.
Exactly. Finding a therapist who specializes in anxiety disorders and phobias, that's key.
They can help you, tailor the treatment to your needs.
Right, help you regain control.
So if our listeners take away one thing from this,
it's that nyctophobia is real, it can be debilitating, but it's manageable.
Understanding it, recognizing its impact, seeking help when needed, those are the first steps.
And remember, darkness is a natural part of our world.
Yeah, it's not all scary monsters and jump scares.
There's beauty in darkness, too.
I like that. So, to leave everyone with something to think about, if darkness is just the absence of light, what are we really afraid of when the lights go out?
Ooh, good question.
Explore a little. Think about how different cultures see darkness. Maybe spend some time under the night sky. You might be surprised what you discover.
Absolutely.
Until next time.
See you then.